I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm constitutional attorney Catherine Henry. Welcome to this week's edition of Friday's Freedom Fighting Tools. Today, I have more than the three I typically try to give you. Not that I want to overwhelm you, but because there's a lot of information out there, and some of it, when you see it, it's a good visual display, as well as having some good descriptions, and I think it'll help you in your freedom fighting journey a little bit more to have some of these additional pieces of information. So today I'm going to share with you, let's see, I'll make it a little bit bigger. There's this PDF that I'm sharing with you today. It's the one link that's in the middle of the description. I didn't want to have however many this is, 10 or 12 different links in the description and get that too overwhelming. But you could see that this PDF has quite a few links. You can click right within the PDF as you have it open, and it gives you the description of the title of that particular document that you'd be looking for. So that's the source of this information. Now that you know where to find it and what it looks like, I'll go ahead and jump right on into what we have here for you today. 6 tabs later, here we go. Okay, so one of the first piece of information I wanted to share with you all today was actually the PDF from the state of Michigan showing the statewide petition status for the 2021-2022 election cycle. This is what we briefly went over in Tuesday's episode, and it shows in order of the date that they were filed. It shows the petitions that essentially what it's known by, the type that it is. If you see initiative petition, that means it's a petition to try to change state law. The filing deadline, the number of signatures that are needed, and then a summary right here. And then if there's any kind of other updating on something that has happened, if it was at the Supreme Court or if the Board of Canvassers did something with that, then that information is also here. So you have initiative petitions, you have quite a few initiative petitions. There's a constitutional amendment petition, another constitutional 3, 4, looks like total constitutional amendment petitions 5, and then one political party. So let's see, 5, 6, so that leaves 12 initiative petitions of the 18 here. Please make sure that you are doing the Wednesday's Way to Get Involved challenge and reading through this document if you are in Michigan and figuring out which of these initiatives, which of these petitions that you would actually like to support. Because no matter what side of the political fence you're on, you're going to want to support some of these wholeheartedly, and you are going to want to stop at all costs other ones that are on here, because there are definitely petitions being circulated on far ends of the spectrum. All right, so that is the first one I have listed for you. Actually, I think these are backwards. That is the last one I have. So I'm going to go over, do it from the other angle. This is the first link I have for you. It gives you information on what are ballot propositions or proposals, initiatives, and referendums. And this gives a fairly decent description of what they are, telling us that 24 states allow either constitutional amendments, petitions, or initiatives to propose new state laws, and 18 of those 24 are the ones that allow constitutional amendments. 21 of them allow proposed laws to be done and put on the ballot by petition. So this is more just the description. It's University of Southern California, so no, I'm not saying everything on this website is going to be great information that you're going to want to look at, but it is what it is, and it's a great start to give you just the facts. All right, so the next one on here, very tiny. Let me see. It's Friday. My brain doesn't want to work. Figure out where my buttons are. So this one is the next link. It actually takes you to a PDF entitled Signature, Geographic Distribution, and Single Subject Requirements for Initiative Petitions. So basically, this is telling you that in states that allow a petition, this is the state. So it's not too many that they're covering here, but Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Maine, I believe that's Massachusetts. Man, I don't remember my abbreviations anymore for states. Michigan, I believe that's Mississippi and Missouri, Montana, and Nebraska. Man, I should really brush up on that before I start teaching Emma about that next year. At any rate, it gives information on whether it has to be a single subject on the petition, yes or no. The net signature requirements for constitutional amendments. So this is saying in Florida, you need 8% of the ballots cast in the last presidential election in the state. Michigan, for example, you need 10% of the votes cast for governor in the last election. Looks like some of these other states, though, are, as my Google decides to tell me it's lunchtime. How nice. Stop, Google. Nice. Okay, so Google's continuing to talk to me. Hopefully it's not disrupting you guys as much as it's disrupting me. At any rate, so yes, it's very interesting that you have, like you see here, 12% of the votes cast for governor are how many signatures you would need to get a petition going for a constitutional amendment. But in other states, it's as low as 3%. That's it's interesting to me because that's a huge difference in the amount of votes needed. And he's still talking to me. So these you can see here, this state in particular has statutes that are allowed to be changed, but not constitutional amendments that are allowed to be done by petition. So that's the difference in the two columns here. The first one is for constitutional amendments. The second one is for statutes. And again, it's telling you how many votes are needed. I do find it interesting that they basically are turning it on to a percentage of the number of votes, either for, it looks like, wow, the last general election generally in the first state listed, but last election for governor, secretary of state, or number of registered voters. That's also interesting. That's even more if you think about it, because not everybody votes during the elections. So that's quite a bit more. In fact, I'm so curious about that. What is that? That is Idaho. And then the deadline for signature submission is written out there. And then the circulation period, how long are the signatures, how long can you circulate petitions and have the signatures be valid? So it looks like the shortest on here might be, if I'm reading this right, 64 days. And that is for, I believe that's for Massachusetts. And then you have 20 months is what is, actually unlimited. What state is that? Arkansas. You can have an unlimited amount of time to circulate a petition to put a new statute on the ballot or a constitutional amendment. I find that very interesting because you could work at it for 10 years and finally get your signatures. Anyway, so that's just some information. That is the second one that is in our links for the Freedom Fighting Tools. The third one here is the local initiative and referendum in the U.S. It's giving information about, again, local. So a lot of the emphasis that I've been giving is about statewide initiatives or constitutional amendment petitions. This is for local initiatives and referendums. Again, the difference being a local initiative. An initiative is a way to have the citizens put petitions together to get enough signatures to put a new law. Typically it goes on the ballot. Sometimes it goes to the legislature and then might go on the ballot, but it is for initiating a new state law. Referendums is a way to undo or rescind a vote to put a new law into place that the legislature has very recently enacted. So to undo a new law that the legislature has done. And so these are talking about those two types of petitions, but at the local level. So a lot of great information on there about that. This next one is the 2018. It's the most recent because it's done, I want to say, every 4 or 5 years or so, and it's about ready to be released again. The 2018 Municipal Form of Government Survey, and it tells you who's doing this. Again, I'm not saying everything in this report is something that would be valid or that you want to buy into any of the information they have here, if there's any kind of slant or leaning. But as far as straight numbers go, for information on the kinds of governments there are, that kind of thing. This is actually a very interesting report to see and check out. And so there is information here. For example, does your municipality have a provision for recall? Almost 49% of municipalities have a way to do recalls. I would think that should be all of them. That's petitioning the government for redress of grievances. But at any rate, there are all kinds of information about what type of items must the council place on the ballot for voter approval. Does your municipality have a provision for legislative referendum? 63%, so the overwhelming majority, do allow for, their local city or township or village, allow for the voters to basically undo decisions that have recently been made by their city council or township board. And of course, question on here, does your municipality have a provision for initiative? That's the one where we talked about where they are making or creating new laws. 45% do at the local level, out of 3,827 who answered that question. And those that do, you have an indirect, you have direct, where it goes directly onto the ballot once they get the signatures. Indirect, it goes, to the city council first, and then non-binding initiative, I almost see no point. But anyway, there's a lot of information in this report, but I wanted to give you that information. The next resource here is the initiative and referendum states. This gives you information on which states here in the first column, and then statutes, talking this essentially the second column then is indicating if that particular state listed in the first column, if it's a direct or indirect ability to have a petition to create new state law. And it might be none, like in Florida, there's none, but quite a few states on this list do. There's also popular referendum. That's the one to undo legislation that has just been passed. So if they have anything at all, it looks like 1, 2, 3 of all these 24, I'd say 24 states plus the Virgin Islands, all but 3 actually have the ability to do referendum. Unfortunately, Florida looks like they don't have the referendum. That sucks. Constitutional initiative. The ones that have a D is, again, for direct. It gets you directly on the ballot once you have enough signatures and meet all the other requirements. None, of course, means there is no way to modify your state constitution through an initiative procedure, which is not really good in my opinion, but that's just me. And then I is indirect. It goes to your legislature or some other government body before it ends up making its way to the voters. But Michigan, you can see, has indirect initiatives. It does have popular referendum, and it has direct constitutional initiative procedures. Florida has no state initiatives, no popular referendum, and then direct constitutional initiatives. I guess it makes it so that you focus more of your efforts, in a situation like with Florida. If you can only ever modify the state constitution through petition, a lot of things that even if you think it would be a good idea to be state law, it may not be appropriate to be in the Constitution. So it whittles down the amount of petitions that you would have. Therefore, a lot of efforts can be more focused. I guess you could look at it that way. But at any rate, if your state is not listed here, it's because they don't have on a statewide level citizens initiative or popular referendums available. So again, I'm not advocating for all the information on this website to be, something that's good and valuable, but just what I'm showing you here is the stuff that I have checked out. Initiative Process 101 is the next link. It's giving you information on what that direct versus indirect initiative means, how an initiative is qualified for the ballot, voting on initiatives, more information. I didn't click on any of the more information side of things, but I did read through this, and it seems to be a very good overview to give you an idea all across the United States on how that process works. And then this one is election administration at state and local levels. So just gives you more information on just different pieces of, elections are super important. And it's, I made you the challenge for the week that if you're not in the state of Michigan, then you need to look up your who is your chief elections official for the state. Is it someone that's called a Secretary of State or Secretary of the Commonwealth? I think is what 3 states had. But it's basically the same thing as a Secretary of State. Is it an elected position? Is it an appointed position? Or is it the Lieutenant Governor? Alaska and Utah have an elected Lieutenant Governor serving as the chief elections official, although I actually think there is a 3rd state that has the Lieutenant Governor be in that position. But at any rate, so there's all kinds of information right here on that. And that's what I was trying to bring you to, is the information for election administration at the state level. So you can look right here and know, okay, you know what? I live in Florida. I am one of the 5 states that has a chief elections official who is not elected, but rather appointed by the governor. Okay. And this says that in all but Delaware, the chief elections official is called the Secretary of State. In Delaware, it is the Commissioner of Elections. So anyway, just some beginning information for you there. The next one is Ballot Pedia. Again, I'm not saying that every single thing on this website is something that you should believe wholeheartedly, but it does give some good information. So for example, that Secretary of State position is in 47 states. That's what I was thinking. The position does not exist at all in Alaska, Hawaii, and Utah. And then in Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, it is a Secretary of State position, but it's called Secretary of the Commonwealth. And in 35 states, the Secretary of State is elected directly by the people, but in 12, that person is appointed by the governor or the state legislature. This cheat sheet, if you will, tells you that currently of the 47 secretaries of state across the U.S., 27 are Republican, 20 are Democrat. It tells you then further with each particular state, the person who is in that position, and they're clickable hyperlinks, so you could check that out. It shows you which party and when they assumed office. Looks like some are fairly recently. This one from Illinois from 1999. This one from Massachusetts has been in that position since 1995. This one from North Carolina, 1996. These are, wow, this guy, 1983 was a fabulous year, might I say, in the northern part of Michigan, which is not too far from Wisconsin. But besides that, I don't think anything else should still be in office from 1983, which this guy has been the Secretary of State for Wisconsin for, well, I could say the last 38 years. That's kind of disturbing to me. So I'd like to see people actually come and go out of positions, because government's not supposed to be a full-time permanent position. It's supposed to be public service that you step into your role and you step out and new people take into office. So we don't have the government elites running things, but that's just me. The next link I have for you here is the Secretary of State on Wikipedia. It's showing you a map. So like I said, this has a lot of visual information this week, a lot of different charts and lists and spreadsheet looking things, maps. Showing you the bright blue is the Democrat secretaries of state, the red is the Republican secretaries of state, and there's an independent and apparently new progressive, and then non-existent in these 3 states right here. So, just, some good information throughout here, but mainly if you're visual, I just wanted to show you the map so you can look and see and go, oh yeah, that's where I live, and it'll give you a good indication of a place to start. The next link here is with the Federal Elections Commission, so you can see this is the list of state election offices, so you can see information for that particular state, the candidates that are on the ballot, the election results, etc. I'm not sure why my little bar has gone away, but I can't scroll in either direction sideways right now. But at any rate, this is the FEC for the US of A, and it shows for every single state and territory where you can find the information with the websites right here that bring you right to getting information on filings for, usually it's just for federal, position candidates. So if it's somebody that's running for your local dog catcher, they're not filing with the FEC, and they're not going to make it known here. But this is leading you back to the state secretaries of state anyway. But good information to be able to check out. There's the Michigan one. I love how every single other state has words that make sense in their websites. So you could actually, put things in like, oh, this is Louisiana. It's, sos.louisiana.gov/elections and voting, or elect.ky.gov for Kentucky, in elections.maryland, or sec.state.ma.us. Whereas you get over to Michigan, and it's now in the last 3.5 years, or 2.5 years, whatever it's been, you have michigan.gov/SOS, and then a whole bunch of random numbers and dashes and commas and things. Literally the only state I see that has any kind of crap like that in their email, in their website. So it makes it much harder for people to try to remember and go from there. I just realized I should check that I have comments. So hi to Haley on Facebook. I appreciate your appreciation of the work that I'm doing. Joshua on YouTube. I appreciate the thought and the words there about the Lord being our strength. And to Terry on Facebook, I appreciate your comments as well. The next resource I have available for you is the link which we talked about this week, michigan.gov. This one kind of sort of makes sense. It's not a bunch of letters and numbers. michigan.gov/sos/elections/BSC, Board of State Canvassers. And this is the one where there is some good information. It talks about who the current members are, the history and duties, the meeting agendas, meeting minutes, all very important information. But the biggest thing I wanted to bring you to was this section right here that shows the current petitions in the state of Michigan. So we talked about if you're doing that Wednesday Way to Get Involved challenge and you're looking at that sheet, which is actually the very next one, the one we started with when I was going backwards. So if you decide, okay, because what I did is I printed them out and I just wrote X's or check marks, so I could keep it straight as I was going through all 18 of these, and then some question marks. So whether I had a question mark or a check mark, I was like, okay, I've narrowed it down to those. I'm gonna go read further beyond this little description here, and this will give you, because unfortunately the Secretary of State's website is so crappy and they really don't want to give you information that, for example, if you wanted to go read the Unlock Michigan petition right here, let me see. Oh, maybe it's working today. Let's see. We're going to click and see if it gets open. Oh, no, it does open, and you get a 404 page not found. How nice of the state of Michigan. What about Secure Michigan Vote? Oh, no, 404 page not found. I am so disgusted at, honestly, I think it's intentional at this point, because this is something that is huge. The whole reason why they have this PDF is for the public to be able to go out and know what initiatives are out there, how many signatures are needed, get involved, this is the whole reason. Otherwise there'd be no point, right? And yet they have these links that go nowhere. And if you go to the part of the website that's supposed to be where you find all these links as well, that they're not listed there either. It's literally a blank page. But if you dig down on the Board of State Canvassers and you go far enough, you see petitions, and then you see the link, and these actually do work. So let's see, Unlock Michigan with the checkbox after the court case. So you have the actual documents that were submitted. You see the actual petition, yada, yada. There you go. So you can actually read the documents there. Let's see, Secure Michigan, I think, was the other one that we were looking at. And there you go. You can see the actual petition that was submitted. And this shows the language, of the actual laws that would be changed, et cetera, et cetera. So this is why I included this part of this one. So again, all of this information is good to have, but if you scroll down to petitions, that's the one I really wanted to hammer on this week. Like I said, this is good just to give you that basic list of what's available in Michigan and the initial summary that was, the approved summary, if you will. So that is all that I have for you today. I must have closed my initial, excuse me, my initial PDF that I started with, but this is the same version. So all of those are listed for you here, again, with the titles over here. And it's important that we know what kinds of petitions that we, the citizens, have the ability to do so that we can get out there and make the change. We can, as cliche as it might sound, you can be the change you wish to see in the world. My job, as I see it, is to inform you and try to help protect you, mostly by informing you, and to enable you to take back your government. This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This is the United States of America, where we are guaranteed Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, a Republican form of government, where we elect people to represent us and do the daily work and the daily functions of government, but we retain the ultimate control and sovereignty of all power in government. This is why we need this information, so we can actually know which ways we can utilize the tools to be able to take back our government. By the way, I actually watched 3/4 of that. Let's see, how do I say it? That movie, that new documentary that's about the 2,000 donkeys and those pieces of paper that you're supposed to turn in on that particular day in November. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid all the keywords that'll get it kicked off here. But anyway, phenomenal documentary. Something that even my 8-year-old was intrigued and, wasn't dying for something else to do. And we can't wait to watch the rest of it tonight. It got a little bit too late last night. But anyway, if you have not seen that, please make sure to get it. You can see it in some select theaters all across the U.S., I believe. But you can, it's in Michigan and Florida, that I know. Otherwise, if you can't make it to one of those theaters, or they're sold out, you can get it online. You can get it on Rumble. You can get it on some other online options. Dinesh D'Souza is the one who put it together. And anyway, it is a wonderful documentary. I won't say the official name if you haven't heard of it, like my dear friend Matt that I just had lunch with today, back from high school. Man, it makes me feel old when we talk about things being 20 and 30 years ago. But anyway, he hadn't heard about it. I was able to say the official name to him because we weren't on YouTube and Facebook at the time. But if you search for 2000 and a word that might be, kind of like a donkey, but one that could maybe traffic in people or drugs or votes, that would be what you would be looking for. So anyway, it is a great documentary. And so you could see the things that were actually happening. Like if you're someone, I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, if you're someone who wants to see the truth, either you think that no way in heck was there ever anything done in the elections, and you think, oh my gosh, these people are, they're just, there's no proof. Check this one out. I mean, there's actual footage, proof over and over and over and over again. And just even the 5 cities that they explored, there's enough proof to overturn the E-Day results. But if you are on the other side and something has always, you've been like, I don't know, I think something's wrong, I just don't know what, I wasn't at the TCF Center, or I wasn't in Georgia on the recounts or anything like that, please watch this video, because you need to see what is actually happening here. It's disturbing, it's disgusting, and we the people need to stop it. So I do have a question on the Decertify Michigan petition. I did go through that on Tuesday. I wouldn't have time right now to do it justice. The very quick answer is no, I'm not supporting that at this point, but it's not that it's just totally terrible and there's just bad things in it. But if you watch this, at least the second half of the video from Tuesday, I go into a bit more detail on each of the 18, what they do, why I would support them or why I don't support them. So Jolene, that would be the answer for you there. And you can find that on our Facebook page, since you're on Facebook, or YouTube, or on Rumble as well. So also, as far as the Decertify Michigan petition goes, I believe that the Michigan Frontliners, Michigan's Conservative Coalition, all of the groups that go into Michigan Frontliners are, Michigan Impact, Kent GOP, I believe, maybe not, maybe I misspoke on that, but Michigan Impact and Stand Up Michigan and quite a few others that I can't think of off the top of my head. They are all opposing Decertify, and they had sent out a recent email explaining why. And I thought it was a very well-reasoned letter explaining why they weren't getting behind it, even though we all want the end result. We would all love the true official election results to be known and take hold. We do need to focus our efforts on going into these midterm elections this year. We don't want to lose ground this year because we're too focused on going backwards. But at any rate, so more information is there. Thank you so much to all of you who are joining me today. And man, half an hour already. Whew, time flies when you're having fun with the Constitution and initiative petitions, I guess. I look forward to sharing Rachel's commercial tomorrow on our Restore Freedom Goodie of the week. And please make sure to check back on Sunday for our biblical insight for the week. And of course, next Tuesday, please check us out at noon on our Rumble station, as well as YouTube and Facebook, as long as we're not covering a topic that's too sketchy for them. But I don't remember what our topic is, so I can't tell you. Either way, we'll be live at noon on Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you guys all there. Have a great day.